Would he consider a calendar next year a Robert Irwin style one? Hiya, it's John Cooney. I'm going to do my last ever Q&A for Ulster Rugby. You are stuck with Stuart McCluskey's terrible banter and awful media skills for the next couple of years, or Stu Moore as well, so I feel for you. And of course, who pops in as the first question is Stuart McCluskey, our local Dur fella. And he asks, am I doing a bulk because my skin folds are quite high at the minute? Relatively high in comparison to him. He's through the roof with him. No comment to this because the next one is Callum Reid slagging me for my skin folds again. I was up a couple yesterday, and this is the working environment that I have to deal with and abuse I get on a regular. But anyway, whatever makes them feel better. So no comment on either of those questions, please. This is from Mullen Mary 85. What helps you switch off if you've had a bad day? It's a good question. I've had plenty of bad days. It's to try and get out of the environment and get home, just kind of to your safe place or whatever that is, and try and do something that I know I enjoy, whether it used to be PlayStation with my mates or watching some TV shows that I enjoy. It's trying to just switch off and just get to the next day. Really, it's something I'd always say, if I can get through today, tomorrow will be easier. So something I've kind of lived by on those tough days is to get to the next day. What is your favourite place or places in Belfast? By Daniel, and 8 numbers after that, so I'm not going to get into that. Favourite place to eat is General Merchants, shout out. The worst thing about leaving is that I don't get to have that every week. I think I'm going to go there after here. Still never got a free black card as well, which is gutting. Gave them enough shout outs over the years. That's my favourite place to eat. I better not say to drink. Katisha Quarter direction. I like the North Coast, Portrush direction is lovely as well. I like getting out of the big smoke, getting out of the city every now and again, so I would say that for landscape. Eamon Caldwell 99. What separates the amateur from the pro, and when did you know that you had what it takes? I was a little bit different to most players growing up. I think people at 12, 13 dream of being a professional rugby player. I wanted to be a footballer, and that didn't work out too well for me. So I was honestly probably not till 19 that I thought I had a future professional career in sport. My mum plagued me to study. I finished my degree by 21, and she made sure I had something to fall back on. So it was probably when I joined the Leinster Academy at 19, 20 was when I started thinking I could be a professional player. This is a job for me, which is a different approach than most other people. But yeah, I think we all have different journeys, and mine was like that, so a little bit different. Malachi Miss Campbell, what was the game with the best atmosphere at the Kingspan? The Leinster game at the end of last season was incredible. I know it obviously went well for myself, but in terms of just how happy everybody was, it was the sense of that togetherness and happiness. I know I went for dinner the next week, and a guy came up to me and told me his wife hadn't spoke to him for 3 days because he went out on a big night out with all his mates after, and he was in such good form. So I got in trouble for that. I don't know why, but I think everyone was just in such good spirits. It was the last game of the season to beat our biggest rival at home. I don't know, I never had such a sense of happiness and togetherness after a game. So I'll give it to that one. There's plenty of others. I could be here all day naming other big game atmospheres, but that's probably the one that is closest to my memory from last season. Jen Hargreaves, what are you most looking forward to in France? Yeah, I'm really excited for a new challenge. I think I'm excited about seeing a bit more in depth into professional sport and rugby in France. I run a kicking page. I'm going to plug it right now. I'm going to try and be as open as I can about that and about the differences in the way they train, the way they take rugby and their approach to rugby. The language, I studied French in school up to 18, and it was actually one of my only B's I got in the Leaving Cert. So I really enjoyed the language, and I'm hoping to be fluent as quick as I can. So yeah, things that could be seen as difficulties, that I'm kind of approaching it with an open mind to really enjoying those aspects of it. Christian Craig, what will you miss the most about Ulster Rugby? It's a very good question. Those Ravenhill Friday, Saturday night games, you can't beat them. The buzz, the supporters, how they go out of their way to thank you for everything you do, to to support us through the good and bad. This is the first thing that you're getting me now a little bit emotional about. I think, I don't know how to put that in words. Like, I've had people reaching out to me through tough times and then through good times to thank me for what I've done for them, what they've done for me. So I don't know, I don't think you could ever put into words, but also thank people enough for that. So yeah, maybe that's more for the actual other video, but I don't know, there's nothing like it. I don't know how to explain. But there you go, thank you for that question. Yeah, this is more of a light-hearted one. Jamie Fraser, 12, 100 John Cooneys or 1 gorilla. I know I'm a confident person who likes to back myself to anything, but I'd go 1 gorilla any day. My shoulders can barely get past there, so I think they'd make absolute light work of me. What was your favourite match you played for Ulster? I think the hardest / best win I ever got was Claremont away. It was the toughest game I've ever played in terms of running. On my whoop, it came up the highest ever. It was a game that we really had to go to the well, and we hadn't beaten too many big European teams away from home in the cauldron of their stadium. I think it was all included there was how tough the game was to win, how big the game was for us that season to qualify for the quarterfinals. So I'd say it was my hardest ever win, but also probably my favourite win. Yeah, I'll never forget that. What rugby team would you support post your playing career? This one is just blatantly obvious for me. It's Ulster, obviously. I don't think people get that. I know I was born in Dublin or whatever, but I never had a crazy affiliation to Leinster. My family either from the west of Ireland, and also my great grandparents are both from here, Tyrone and Armagh. So I've always felt like I've had a bit more of an actual family connection to here, even over Leinster. So it will always be Ulster. This is a good question. Kelly W _2. Your favourite team to play against? So there's 2 teams that I just have scored more points against and more tries against than I have any other teams. I don't know why I always seem to play as well as I could against these 2 teams. But it was Harlequins. Played them in Europe a few times and literally had my best games and most points. And Edinburgh, same thing. I've scored as much tries against both those teams combined in probably my whole 8 years here. So I don't know why, but I used to always just love playing both of those teams. Yeah, I can't answer why. Donal O'Reilly, what is the ratio of love-hate between you and Stuart McCluskey? Yeah, love-hate is probably a good way to describe it. I know you're starting to see a bit more of his personality. Like, he is boring, but he does have something in there if you take it out of him. And he is starting to now show face. I think it's because he's coming to the end of his career and he wants to see, can he do anything outside of rugby, because he's no brain cells. So he is starting to show a lot more of that personality, and I hope he takes over from me with the media aspects of it. He is a good fella. It's probably because for the 8 years, I'll be nice to him now. We played basically every big game together. It's always been me and him, and 9 and 12. And you give the ball to the big guy, he gets us a bit of gain line. And I feel like he probably won't tell you this, but whenever he's played well, it's because I've played well and I've carried him along with me. So, and not vice versa. There's been a lot of games he's been poor and I've had to carry this team, but whenever he's played well, yeah, I've really given him an armchair ride. I know people seem to think it's the other way around, but yeah, I'm just been here to help him, and I hope whoever takes this job now after me can look after him. Would he consider a calendar next year a Robert Irwin style one? If the price is right, you never know. I don't know if my wife would be happy, but I basically, Robert Irwin, yeah, I do know who he is, but I've never seen his calendar. But yeah, the most random question yet anyway. Jacob __ Elliot, what was your best try scored at Ulster? I think this answer always kind of shocks people. So I obviously, probably the best try I ever scored was the Claremont one here at home. Used my old football skills for that one. But my actual favourite personal try was we played Munster at home here. And there'd been a lot of talk about who was going to play for Ireland, who's the informed scrum half, whatever you want to say at the time. And I remember scoring after like 20 minutes. And I sidestepped Earlsy, scored on the post. And yeah, just personally for what I was trying to achieve in my career and really wanted to kick on to play at a higher level. A lot of the media scrutiny of who should play, etc., etc. And just in those games you're kind of relieved when something like that happens, because you really want to play well and you really want to turn up, and to get it so early in the game for me was just a kind of massive relief that, okay, this is a big game and I'm performing really well. So it was just more of an individual, personal one, maybe a bit selfish, but just from all the media and the scrutiny that was going on, I was just real happy and relieved to score such a good try. Christopher Purcell, 05. Out of all the seasons you have played for Ulster, which one is your favourite? Every season has been so different. My first season was very difficult, and I think we ended up winning a playoff to make Europe. So that was a pretty difficult season. It would probably be the season, I know it's heartbreaking, that we lost the semi-final to the Stormers in the last play. We played unbelievable that year. I think it could have been the same year with Clermont away with that victory. We lost to Toulouse over an aggregate score by 1 point. Just the rugby we played and how good we were, I fully believe we had the team and we were playing the rugby to have won that league that year. We didn't get over the line at the end, but yeah, I just think that season we played incredible rugby. I remember from the start of it we played a pre-season game against Saracens and we beat them by 30 points. And I knew that year we were going to go really well. So it was the most enjoyable rugby season for me, definitely. Ryan_Miller 44. Name one moment off the pitch from Ulster that you'll never forget. I'm going to keep it sport related. The Open at Portrush. I was lucky enough to go on the Saturday and see Shane Lowry finish down that 18th and the crowds following him and chasing him. The weather was lovely. As I said, Portrush is so nice, and yeah, it was a sporting event that I'll never forget. And it was, if I look back at my 8 years, it was definitely probably the best weekend that I've had here. In those 8 years, it was just incredible. So I'll go with that. Jack_Gardner, what will you miss most about Belfast? So I actually plan to come back and live here long term. So when I've been driving by, I've always been kind of not obsessed, but had this awe of the cranes, the Harlan Wolff cranes. So my dad's Scottish, and when I was younger we used to get the ferry from Belfast over to Scotland, and being a young kid I used to always just be in awe of them, and I used to think Titanic was so cool. So that's probably always been the thing that I've liked most about Belfast, is the Harlan Wolff crane. So I miss that, and when I've been passing them recently in the SSE arena, the thoughts of leaving isn't as bad as I thought, because I plan on living here long term. So it's kind of more like see you later. So yeah, I probably haven't been as emotional as I thought I'd be. Obviously miss Cathedral Quarter and great nights out here as well, but yeah, as I said, it's see you later, it's not goodbye. So it's probably been a little bit easier to deal with that, whereas when you see some players moving on or moving back home, it's a last for them, whereas it's never going to be the last time I do anything here really. So yeah, it's a little bit different for me.